Okay, so I wasn't planning to review figures from the series just yet because I still want to make a dedicated video about the anime itself. I feel like doing it anyway because it kind of follows the theme of the previous video that I just released, like a tomboyish like anime girl, so yeah, why not? So today we're gonna look at Cure March from Smile Precure. And yeah, I know, magical girls, but people don't, I feel like people don't give magical girls enough respect. Like, everyone always talks about Sailor Moon, but it's like, what about all the other magical girls? Like, what about Cutie Honey? What about, like, Cardcaptor Sakura? I don't really care about her. What about all of the Precure series? What about, well, Madoka's the only other one, but that's because it's a dark series. So that's the only reason people care about it. Okay, so Cure March is, like, barely 5 inches. Like, if you count the rest of her big hair, it's like 5 inches, but if you just count up the top of her head, like without the ponytail and everything, it's like almost 5 inches, but that's pretty fucking short. And then she's about, I want to say 12 centimeters, so she's shorter than the other figures I've done so far. Like, she's shorter than Soniko and all the other Taiminen characters, and even the snail shell, especially the snail shell one. So for comparison's sake, since I just did this review, here's Makoto from Idolmaster. And you can see that there's a bit of a size difference here. So Makoto is like a few inches taller, whereas Cure March is definitely shorter, but that might also be due to the fact that the characters are different ages, so the sizes might be different. Like, I think Makoto is probably like 18 or something, whereas like the girls in Smile Precure I think are like middle schoolers or something, so pretty fucking short. I think they're just short in general compared to the other Precure characters. I'm not sure. I've only seen Smile Precure, so I'm not like 100% like knowledgeable about everything, but I know for a fact that these guys are especially short. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic for Cure March. So the interesting thing is that Cure March actually has a more like tannish skin tone, like in the anime. Like, she's not pale white. I don't think any of them are pale white, I think, in the anime. Except maybe Yayoi and Reika, aka Peace and Cure Beauty. But that's beside the point. But it seems they opted to just make them super fucking pale. Kind of like, you know who, like, kind of like Makoto, but I feel like even more so it's a bit weird because she's been drawn with like a slightly more tannish like skin tone. Like a slightly more orangey skin tone, and they're just like, alright, fuck it, she's just pale. But you can see it here, like they have shading on her body, and it kinda looks a bit more like the skin tone she has in the anime, but it's still like a creamy color, not like a orangish tan color. Like, she's not like suntanned or anything, but she has like not a completely pale white skin tone. So it's a bit odd. And I don't remember, and I don't think in the anime like their skin tones get brighter all of a sudden when they transform. I think it stays mostly the same. So let's start with the details here. So I just wanted to get the skin tone out of the way because it's pretty important. Yeah, so off the top of her head, you can see they actually sculpted the hair as like a separate thing. So yeah, so it's like this kind of mechanism here. So I feel like they could have probably done that differently, but probably the best they could do, especially because they want to maintain the shape of it. And it's actually sculpted nicely. Like, it has the same like kind of pointed shape that it does in the anime, because typically since Cure March has like a ponytail, it would be hard to see it from the back, from the front. So they always stylize it like this, where you could see it from different angles. Like, I think typically like this, like typically from the side like this, or from this angle. So it's always in frame, so you could always see it. Same thing with the 3D model in the endings of every episode. In the ending sequence of every episode, you always see it from an angle. So it's always visible from the front or the back. Because it would look kind of weird if they just did that, you see? That doesn't look right. So from the top there, yeah, so it's all painted. There's some shade, hints of, oh, well, her head came off, okay? That makes it easier. So you see like there's hints of green shading right here, like a darker color. Bit of a lighter color. It's like various shades of green, because she has like very deep green kind of color. And then here you can see there's a bit shading here to connect to this little crown thing for her ponytail is actually like rusted. Oh, it kind of looks like a rusty gold, like metallic kind of color. And then like the feather accessory that connects here, that's all one thing. It's color separated really well. They even painted the back. There's only a little bit of green like leaking out right there, but that's fine. The back of her hair is painted, and they even painted like, they even molded and painted a little like wrinkle here, so you can see like the hair going into the knot, which is really cool. And then there's like little extra shades of dark green here. It's real nice. And then her hair can move. Well, we'll get to that in articulation, but her hair can move. And you can see that even though it's painted, it's a little bit more plain. Like, it does look better than molded plastic, but you can tell it's just like a straight like green. And I think even on the inside, there's like not much going on there. And in the front, there's like little bits of shading here, I think, and here. And that's kind of it. Her face is super clean looking though. Like, they got the eyelashes, the face, eyebrows are visible. Even like the little headpiece thing that she wears on her forehead is clean. It's part of the hair, so it looks a bit messy, but I can live with that. And also, they even got the earrings on. Like, I'll give them that. Like, this is clean. I gotta put this back on. We'll talk about that problem later. Okay, so then you can see right here the shoulder pads, or the shoulder frills or whatever. There's a little bit of a white going on here. You see they didn't paint it like all the way, so you see some of it doesn't, some of it kind of leaks out. See, there's some white there. They did it on the small ones, but on the larger ones they didn't paint all the way, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And I don't know if there's paint on these. It just looks completely pale. So it looks fine, but it's a rubbery, so kind of plastic, so it's meant to move to the side so that you can make space for the arms. But we'll talk about that in articulation. The costume looks great. They painted the bow, the little gold, like what's that thing? What's that thing called? I don't know what they're called. The little thing on the chest piece, the little ribbon right here. Like, this is all, I think, like one single piece, but it's all molded and painted like perfectly fine. The green lines right there for the top part of the dress, like that's separated from the skin. Like, that's really good. It's a bit hard to see, but you can see like the little neck, the thing on their neck, like it goes all the way to the back. So that's really clean too. I wish there was a bit more shading on the upper body, so you can see like the collarbone on the character, because they do have collarbones. It's just that you can't really see that part of the body, like on the neck, so it just kind of looks like a plane. And then the green, it's all like this lightish green, but you can see there's just like a little bit of a mess here on the seam line. Not sure what's going on there. And look, even though you can't see it properly, they even painted the white stripe all the way up to the chest piece for the dress, and the green lines that go along with it. So they must have painted this first and then put this thing on, which is kind of crazy. And on this side, the seam line's actually really smooth and you don't really see it. And on the back, it's a bit hard to see from this angle. Look, it even like continues the pattern with the green lines right here, and then right here it continues to the bottom part of the upper body. And then this is a soft plastic so that the body can crunch and move properly. We'll talk about that later. And look at how clean these green lines are. Like, why doesn't Bandai fucking put paint on their figures anymore? Look how clean that looks. It's crazy. This part doesn't look painted. I think it's just plain because there's no shading or anything on it. So this frill right here on the back of the skirt is fine. Before we go back to the rest of the lower body, hold on. Let's go back to the arms. Yes, I already talked about the frills. The frills look fine. The shading on the arms, the shading actually looks really good. And it actually kind of matches the elbow joints, which are nice. And for the gloves, There's two different shades of green. There's a lime green right here, and then a dark forest green. And there's a bit of an indent right here for the elbow to bend. A bit more concave. Yeah, it looks nice. It's all separated perfectly fine. The white is actually painted white, I think. Cuffs right here on the green. All clean on both sides, I think. Here is fine. They needed to put more white on here, because you can tell if you... It's like a bit off-white. Like this part is like almost pure white, but this part is a bit of an off-white because I think they painted it on the hand. Like this must have been like the default color on the plastic, and then they painted it with white. But yeah, it's a bit off. And on this hand, everything's fine. It's not the default hand, but that's fine. Everything's separated the same way. Joints are clean. I don't like that the elbow, that the shoulders are like so brightly colored in comparison to the elbows. Like the elbows are a little bit darker, so it kind of matches, but the arms are just really dark for some reason in comparison to the actual joints. But whatever, you won't really notice it because this is supposed to cover the. You won't really notice it because it kind of covers the shoulders, but whatever. Okay, so the skirt is in the same shade of green as the upper body. And this is, while it's also a soft skirt, it's also like a super hard, like rigid skirt. Like it doesn't move, flex as much as I want it to, compared to Makoto. Like look at the difference. Look at the difference. This thing flexes all day and can do whatever you want it to. This, like, it requires more force, which sucks, but we'll talk about that later. They even painted the little transformation thing that they use in the show. I forget what the actual thing is called. I'm sorry, I haven't watched the anime in like months. I watched the whole thing, but I forget the name. It doesn't have like the little gold thing there, but like they even painted it yellow and it's attached to the skirt and everything. Like this is so cool. And again, even though this part is completely covering the skirt, they still made it completely visible and completely colored and everything. And you can see like the paint work on here with the lines is everything's so fucking clean. Like a little bit right here, it's a bit off. Like it's starting to go a bit off right there, but it's hardly noticeable. And then for the lower body, the spats are like a different shade of green, which are accurate to the show. But then look at the legs. She has like a crazy amount of shading on the legs for no reason. And it's even on the back. Even with Dragon Ball figures, they skimp out on this. They don't put shading on the back. Like what the hell? I forget when this figure came out. But damn, look at that. It's weird because she's the only one in the Smile Precure line that has like crazy leg and arm shading. I don't know why. It's like they all of a sudden went all out on her and then they forgot to update the other ones. Because I think she's the last one, if I remember correctly. She's probably not. Her little sock things right here are really clean. All separated. I think here you can kind of see that there's a little bit of skin color bleeding into the green, but again, barely noticeable. And here it's just as clean. Again, like I don't like that the knee joints are so bright compared to the leg. Like this needed to be a slightly different, darker color, but oh well. And then the shoes are fine. This is all painted white with green. And that's fine. I don't even know where the copyright information is on these things. I figured it would be like on the skirt or something, but who cares? Because was it the copyright information on Makoto is like on her shoe. It's hard to see, but it's on the shoe. Okay, for aesthetic, I gotta give Cure March like a 10 out of 10. Or maybe a 9, because the skin color is technically not accurate. But everything else I think is way too on point. There's way too much paint on here for me to just not give it an amazing score. So I'll give it like a 9.8. 9.8. Okay, so now we gotta talk about the articulation, which is good, but not as good as the paint job. Okay, so the head is interesting. They used a joint system that's similar to Figma. where they have like a peg with it's like a two-pegged sort of thing where this connects to this. It's like a hinge, I think. So it connects here, and then this connects here. So you can go like this, and you can tilt it to the side thanks to this back part, because this is the actual part that connects it. But you can't. But you know, there's certain things you can't do. But this is still really good. You just have to remember what part of it you're holding so you can actually move it correctly. So I actually don't mind this. I would prefer if it was like this, where it's a double ball peg system, because look at how, especially here, because there's an articulated neck here. This neck isn't articulated, like that doesn't move, so the neck is static, like a lot of older Bishoujo figures. So that's kind of sucks. Because I showed this in the previous video, but look at how much this neck moves. Ugh, moved it too much. Look at how much this neck moves. Like, that's insane. Like, this is such a good neck. But not gonna take away from Cure March, but it only the head moves, the neck doesn't move. If the necks could move, they could do a lot more dynamic poses. That's why I'm always trying to emphasize like dynamic poses. Or why I keep complaining when things don't work certain ways. Like I wish like one issue the Taimanin figures have is that the necks aren't very dynamic. That's one flaw that they have, that the necks aren't good. Everything else about them is good except for the necks. But yeah, like this is all you get. You kind of just only get this. So you kind of get like that weird breakage in the neck, like I talked about with the Taimanin figures. But yeah, I'd say like you can still get the poses you need. But so yeah, like, and you can't tilt the head super far forward. If you tilt the head too far back, it like breaks off. So yeah, there's that. She can look up pretty high. Look down pretty well. Oh well, now she can't look up so high because I put the neck all the way back in. If you stretch it out a little bit, that'll work. To the side, if you move the hair things, there you go. She can kind of tilt like this, but it makes the neck look broken. So I don't like these like single things that they do only on the head. That's fine. Yeah, these things move. They can go all the way like this for more dynamic poses, like to make the hair look cooler. This goes all the way like this. And goes side to side like this. This causes a weight distribution issue because she can't stand up. So have fun with that. You're gonna have to like use a stand or something, but don't worry about that. So the shoulders have these little frill things that move to the sides. And yeah, it makes these shoulders look a little ugly, and it does break the skirt like sculpt and everything, but it's meant to just be covered by this. But does give you the full rotation for the most part, and there you go. So you can move the arms like this, which is nice, and you can also have the shoulders move up and down, which I believe I showed earlier. Yeah, so they kind of have a drop down thing here, and then you can just move these back. I don't know if they flex enough for you to be able to move them up. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty nice. You can have them flex a little bit. I think it's better than what they did on Cure Happy, but I might be wrong. Oh, hell, they flex pretty well. So you can still get like a pretty natural looking pose, but like this looks kind of ugly because you can just see the joints. I think if you like move them a little bit more forward like this, yeah, I don't think you could do it without fucking it up. So you kind of have to live with it. If it looking like maybe like this is a bit good enough, but it's kind of like the Dragon Ball shoulder pads on the Saiyan armor. Like there's just no way around it. So oh well. But yeah, they do go all the way back, so you have fully unhindered arm movement. So there's that. So it kind of goes, it goes a little inward, which is actually pretty good because it's angled, the upper body is angled in a way where you can kind of have some leeway. But yeah, this is fine enough. She can go like this. You can't get her to do like a cool looking pose, so it does work. Yeah, you can make her cross her arms, so it does work. So I'm okay with that. But let me see. Let me go back. So the funny thing is that she actually has, I think, like a single jointed elbow. But look at how much bend you get. I think it's because she's like a skinny character. So, but like, look at how much bend. That's pretty good. Wait, let me look at Makoto again. I know I keep comparing them, but they're both SH Figuarts. She gets more bend than Makoto, and that's probably because Makoto has like a thicker jacket, like preventing the articulation. But it's funny because she's double jointed, so she actually gets less, slightly less. And then the hands are on a standard like ball joint thing, you know, the peg and everything. Same thing with Makoto. Okay, upper body is pretty interesting. Check this out. So it's on a little diaphragm thing here. Look, also look at that. The paint, they sculpted it so it keeps going even after you do the upper body diaphragm thing. Man, only Marvel Legends and other figures could like take that into account. That, you know, that you would need to sculpt the rest of the body. Look at that. This is great. It reminds me of kind of like the Time and ones where the body just keeps going. Also, look at that bend. She can bend like her back, the upper part of her like spine all the way back. So I think that's really good. So you can have her like fly or something. I don't remember if they fly. I know they jump really high though. It's a little stuck, but you can. It's a little stuck, but you can push it back in. Going forward, what a very small gap right here in the back. You won't notice it, but it doesn't go forward as much. Why do these things never go forward as much as they do go backwards? Like, what's wrong with that? So she doesn't go forward as much, but that's just on this part of the joint. Side to side. Really damn good side to side. Look at this. Yeah, she's gonna kick you. Damn, look at that. That's great. And then right here, same thing. That's great too. Like, what the hell? I'm really impressed with this so far. Even though I've messed around with this figure before because I took pictures of it like when I got it, but anyway, that's not all because there's another ball joint right here on the waist, and it has a little bit of its own like articulation. So I'm gonna move this neutral. Oh wait, that's not how you're supposed to. Yeah, so it does a little bit, not as much. And that's probably because the plastic right here on the skirt is getting in the way. So, but when you combine them together, I'd say that's pretty good, because before it was like this, now it's a little bit further. Going forward, taking this soft piece into account, it's not too much of an improvement. Yeah, that's about as much. But if you take the whole thing and make it go sideways, it's still pretty insane. Like, I love how they can like go sideways. That's so cool. Although it looks like they're trying to break their spine. Okay, so now we can talk about the fucking skirt. The skirt. I really wish the skirts on the Smile Precure figures were a lot better, because the skirts basically get in the way and hinder movement. Luckily, these things have a slight drop down, so you can kind of get it out of the way, but not completely. You see how it like prevents the skirt from flexing? Like, I wish I could just figure out how to get it to flex more. Yeah, so best you can do is just kind of... Again, it's like the Sonico thing where I told you that the skirt gets in the way and doesn't prevent the legs from moving, so it's a bit uneven, but you can kind of... Not the best range with the skirt on, but that's still perfectly fine. That's still perfectly fine, I think. But it could definitely be better. This is the best you'll get from a kick, unfortunately. From really sideways, which sucks because they do a lot of crazy kicks and stuff in the show. But oh well. Going forward, you get about this much, but if you flex it a little bit, you can get a little bit more range. Hold on, that's not as much as you can get. You can get like practically 90, like a straight kick. You really have to flex this skirt, which sucks. I don't like having to flex it. Yeah, you can kind of see it's straight, I think. It's a bit hard to tell, but I think it's working. But yeah. You have to like really force it, which sucks. Could potentially damage it, but hopefully not. We have pretty good kick going forward, so for example, if you combine a lot of those joints together, get a pretty dynamic kick. And since she's like a soccer player and she does a lot of kicking moves, there you go. So you can make her do like her signature thing, which is kicking. Also, this brings me to a perfect point. You see how the leg here, gets caught like on the butt cheek part right here? So what you have to do is that you have to like turn this around and then make it go back in. Make it go back inside in between here in the diaper piece, because if you don't, the leg will get stuck and then it'll be hard to get it out, and then it'll just make the leg pop off, which has happened to me like too many times. So you have to keep that in mind. So you kind of have to peek underneath to see if the leg is working fine. You see, like right here, it almost did that. If they had just made the back of it a little bit longer, like on the sides, it probably wouldn't get caught. Because Makoto has something like that, where the butt cheek can actually like catch the leg so it doesn't like go over it and fuck up the joint. But here on the Smile Precure one, they didn't put as much room there, but it does help the legs go backwards though. Like if you can flex the skirt, you get some decent backwards range along with forward range. So I'd say that's okay. Like forward and back together, because this is flexing the whole thing. That's fine. But you can kind of only flex like in one way. So you gotta do that again. Get to the legs go back in. Also, there's a bit of a drop down mechanism here. A little bit. So you can see a little bit. But not enough for it to matter as much. But not enough where like the legs have full range of movement. So he still has limitations. The knees are single jointed, which is pretty much the same, but they gave Makoto a bit more range. Actually, I think it might be the same. I can't tell. Yeah, I already pointed out I don't like the knee joints, how they look like slightly different color. The ankles unfortunately suck ass. This is your downward range, upward range. No ankle rocker. Like what the hell? Like the high heel's already hard enough to make characters stand with, like, and then like give her this crazy hair that makes it heavy. Like, look what happens when she stands up. Let me give her a decent pose. See? Like even if I lean her forward and do like the Goku thing, she will fall over. You can make her stand up like in a neutral position. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's a thigh swivel right here, perfectly hidden between the spats and the leg, which is great. So you can get like more subtle posing, which is great. Always have thigh swivels and arm swivels, or biceps. Please, always do that. So for articulation, especially given the age of the figure, like this is from like 2014. You see? The leg came off because I was trying to fix it. Alright, so this gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about the leg range. So this is actually how much range you get if you don't have the skirt in the way. Look at this! This is so much better. I wish you had this kind of range. Yeah, you can see the little peg here that connects the upper body. But look at this. Look at that crazy kick. And look at the backwards range. Like, it does get in the way here because of the shape. But look. This is so much better. Why can't we do this? Because the skirts aren't good. At least with Makoto, like, you know, the skirt doesn't really get in the way, so check this out. So yeah, now I gotta put this back. Alright, she's all better now. I fixed her. Alright, so now the next thing we gotta talk about is the accessories. And, you know, all the different hands and everything. So let's get started with that. Okay, so Cure March comes with the following accessories. You get 4 different expressions. You get a really happy, cheerful looking one, which I believe is the default. A more stern, like mouth closed kind of expression. A yelling expression that's wide open, and then like a powering up kind of expression. Where in Smile Precure, they all power up by like getting psyched up. So they find a way to like start yelling. Especially Cure Happy. She's supposed to be the happy one, but she just gets pissed off to start powering up, and it's really funny. You get 2 sets of fist hands, 2 open palm hands, 2 kind of, one like kind of clenchy sort of hand, 1 like open hand that is a little more stylized, which I think is meant to look like the way her hand is posed during her transformation sequence and during like the character roll call. 1 pointing hand, because she does like a pointing pose when she transforms, and then 1 like whippering, like what's up kind of hand, like a rock out hand. I'm not sure why she has one of those. I forget why. An alternate neck peg, a figure stand, and then of course like the actual thing for the figure stand. So yeah, just like the Idolmaster figure for Makoto, it does come with a figure stand, and in her case she desperately needs one because she can't fucking stand up properly. Which, you know, I'm calling it the magical girl problem because magical girls have crazy hair, and or at least the Precure ones have crazy hair and can't stand up properly. But I guess you could also call it like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku problem, where his hair is ridiculous too, and he can't stand up properly. Oh, I guess they have a lot more in common than I thought. Okay, so the alternate neck is really interesting because you can see here clearly that the neck is, you know, on a hinge. It's on 2 hinges, 2 kind of hinges. One that doesn't move here, and then one that does move on the back, and it connects the back of the hair. So, you know, you can do this, you can do that, whatever. So, let's take this off. You can see how it is. You can see how it is right here. See, it's another one. That's how it's able to move around like that, because this moves. And then the other, oh my god, focus. Yeah, so this one moves, and then the other one lets it rotate to the sides. So it's kind of hard to do. So basically, you have to take this off. So you have to take this off. Okay, so I just want to make this really clear, as clear as I can without my camera being shit. You see this one is articulated. You can see the little break right there. You can see how this one moves. See? This one's articulated. This one is a single molded piece, and this one doesn't move at all. But what's the point of having a neck piece that doesn't move? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of it? Well, you'll see why. So, you plug it into the neck like this, grab the headpiece, or, yeah, the back of the head, plug it in like this, if I can do it properly. Alright, so you plug it in like this, and then choose any of the alternate faces, or whatever. So we'll use this one. I don't know why this one's making me laugh. Alright, so now she has the new neck on, and we'll see if that makes any sort of difference in I forgot to give her hands. Alright, now we'll see if it makes any level of difference with her being able to stand up. Probably not. Well, she can stand up now, and she's pissed because she doesn't have hands. Let's give her some hands. Alright, well there you go. Yeah, I guess she's rocking out now. Anyway, yeah, you can get her to stand up, surprisingly enough, if you just adjust it the right way, and the neck provides a bit more support, so she stays like that. Only problem I have is that since you can't move the neck up or down, they're kind of stuck facing in a certain way. So if you want to like show more of their face or something, you kind of have to angle the upper body, but then that also can cause her to fall down. So if I go kind of like this, maybe? No. Yeah, you see, she can't stand properly. I'm really trying right here. Like, she has a harder time than Cure Peace, and I've already shown Cure Peace standing up in a couple of instances. I think in the Sakura video, she appears in a picture, and in the recent video, she'll be in a picture, if she hasn't already. There you go. Alright, she's busy rocking out right now. Cure March is enjoying this video. Oh wait, we need to do the figure stand. So the figure stand, just like with Makoto, has 3 little points here that you can like press down and eliminate the extra little screw things. Push it down so you can put the figure stand on this side or this side. But they intend for you to put it here, which is why it doesn't have anything. So it's mostly the same as a standard Figuarts stand, but it's a bit different. Like, it's not as, doesn't have all the joints all the way at the top. So this one is very clear. It can go like this. Doesn't have the double one, but yeah, it goes like this. You know, front to back, whatever. And then it has a bending one right here. You can kind of position it like this. And then you can plug this in. Then you can plug this in into this part. And then the claw grip can hopefully keep her standing up properly. And it has a smaller claw grip than the standard Figuarts stand, because they're much skinnier than a lot of like male characters or whatever, so this is like meant to accommodate for them. I'm trying to do this on camera without looking at the actual figure. Yeah, so the hair still gets in the way, and also this claw grip isn't the tightest thing in the world, so it still can cause them to flop and fall over. But if you can get her like this, oh my god. Alright, there you go. It works. And she is either very pissed or she's psyched up. That's why she's going like this, whipping. So yeah, there you go. I like Cure March. I like all the Smile Precure characters. I have like the full team, like the full figure set for the full team, because I love this series. It's a great anime. I highly recommend it. It doesn't matter if you're like an adult male or whatever. You shouldn't be afraid to watch something like that. And there's no reason to not. It's a great show, like both for kids and like for adults, so you can enjoy it. As for the figures are great. I love them. So, Articulation I gave like what, like 8? I think I'm gonna give it like 8. Aesthetic I gotta give a 9. Accessories She doesn't have any energy effects or anything. Like, I wish she came with like the March shoot energy effect with the little the green wind ball thing that she shoots to attack enemies or something, or some kind of cool windy effect. But no, she doesn't come with a cool windy effect, so that sucks. But they're just a little light on accessories. But I think coming with a figure stand that can actually hold her up, so she can actually stand up properly without falling over, and a couple of extra hands and pretty good amount of faces. I'll give her like a 8.5 for accessories, mostly because the figure stand is like absolutely necessary so she can stand up properly. If not, she has to lean against a wall like every fucking time. So overall, what do I think of Cure March? Cure March, SH Figuarts Cure March is a great figure. Some of the articulation isn't as good as it could be, just because of the age of the figure, because it came out like almost like 10 years ago. But I think even now it's still really good, and they're not really that expensive nowadays. Well, Precure stuff is really big now because of the 20th anniversary last year and Sky Precure being huge. So I don't know, Precure stuff might go up, but I don't know. Specifically this series, I'm not sure. But yeah, I highly recommend you get this, and it's totally worth the money. If you can get it in a bundle or like a 5-pack, like online from like some kind of like reseller or something, hopefully not for like more than 200, or if you can try and get it under 200, then go ahead. But like Cure Peace and Cure Happy were regular releases, so they're pretty common, so you can find them for probably not that much. But Cure Sunny, Cure Beauty, and Cure March were all, I think, premium Bandai exclusive, so good luck trying to get them for cheap. But I highly recommend you get them. I highly recommend you get her, and we'll see if I do the rest of the Smile Precure reviews. I'm trying to see if people like the reviews regardless of whether or not it's a sexy anime character. Because if it's only sexy anime characters, is that like what I'm stuck doing? Because then I have to start buying a bunch of figures that I didn't plan to. But yeah, I'm just gonna review whatever the fuck I want, so who cares? Alright, so that's it, bye.